Yes, good morning. Welcome to today's program, Creating Joy in Something More, Creating Joy in Much More. Good morning to you, Belkis. Are you ready to create some joy today?
Yes, good morning. Definitely ready to create it.
All right, let's go and see what the quote of today is. It says, "It is never too late to become who you want to be. I hope you live a life that you're proud of. And if you find that you're not, I hope you have the strength to start over." Francis Scott Fitzgerald.
I totally agree. Sometimes people see that we are actually getting set downs, and people think that that's the end, and it's not. You need to gather your strength and continue forward.
Okay. I just noticed that I had a mishap here with the microphone on the online radio, so they didn't hear
The
the
quote.
quote of
Okay.
today. So I'm going to repeat it. It is never too late to become who you want to be. I hope you live a life that you're proud of. And if you find that you're not, I hope you have the strength to start over. Francis Scott Fitzgerald. You know, when I look at this quote, it it seems like uh, you have a lot of wanting and saying, and life isn't much like that. It's like it, for
Hmm.
me, if I read this quote, I would use different wording. I would say it's never too late to become who you were born to be,
Exactly.
not who
Yeah.
you want to be. Because there's a one thing that when I coach the youngsters, I always ask them, how do you know that that thing that you want so much,
That's what you
that
need.
it is the best thing that life has to offer you?
Hmm.
Maybe you need something else. And in life, you seldomly get what you want. Seldomly. Most of the time, not to say all of the time, you will get what you need.
It's true. You know, I believe that the need is what needs to be determined.
Right?
And that is something that I say, how do I specify need? Um, I say that the want comes from the body and the need comes from the soul.
Right.
And when you determine what is it that you need according to your soul,
Hmm.
gather the strength to do what you need to do based on your soul. And the want, which is basically what the body
Hmm.
is actually craving. And it is basically that, the body is between pain and pleasure. So that's what the foundation of want is.
Right.
And on the contrary, need is because it's for the benefit of all.
Correct. And also the second sentence, I hope you live a life that you're proud of. Pride to me is also something that comes from the body. I know
Yes.
many people that say, I'm very proud of this, I'm very
Mm-hmm.
proud of that. But it has a lot to do with the body and with the achievements of the body. It has
Mm-hmm.
little to do with who you really are, and with self fulfillment, with self ownership and self mastery.
You see, I do believe that it's true. When I have to feel good about myself, is because the soul is happy with me.
Right,
It's when the soul is happy with the body, that is the sensation that we have put so many names to it. We have put self actualization, bliss, enlightenment, and that the only thing it's saying that you are living what you were born to come and do.
exactly. So for me, I wouldn't go around life looking to feel or to be proud of anything. I would go about life looking to be in calmness, to be calm, because calmness is an indication that
Hmm.
my soul and my body are aligned.
Exactly.
My soul is happy because it is doing what I was born to do, and the body is allowing all of that process to take place. So I wouldn't go through life looking to achieve, to be proud of whatever I do. I would go through life looking to feel calm in everything that I do.
And you see, it just got to me that, you know basically what we need to look for is the harmony between soul and body. Once that harmony is established, life is going to give you favorable circumstances.
Exactly.
Not only that, but you will feel calm. There is not going to be any power struggle, you see, because what is the power struggle? The biggest power struggle is between the soul and the body.
Exactly. We've been talking about meditation. In the last program, we started to talk about meditation, the importance of doing this exercise. And we told our listeners that meditation, in the first thing that it does for you, is it purifies the mind. It helps you to purify the mind. The second thing that happens simultaneously, in the moment that you sit down to meditate, not only are you purifying the mind, but you're also practicing the ability to focus the mind on one thing. And this is how you learn how to give an order to your mind. So let's say that in the future, when you need it, um, you can imagine whatever it is that you want to imagine, and your mind will be able to follow that order and keep that imagination in focus, in check, until you realize it, with the least distraction as possible. This part is this exercise of meditation is very important, because nowadays it's like, for a person to be able to keep their attention long enough at doing something, it's almost like it's like a gift nowadays,
Mm-hmm.
because it's like life is throwing things continuously at you, at us, to not be focused at one thing. And some people even take pride, again, pride that's from the body. They take pride at being, how do you call it when you do many things?
Multitasking.
Multitasks. Multitasking. So people take pride at being average at doing many things,
Hmm.
but not excellent at doing one thing.
You see, that is the thing that I say, we have become really, the word that comes to me is we have become disturbed people. The disturb is being crazy,
Mm-hmm.
because you see, we actually think that because we're so busy,
Right.
it's good,
Mm-hmm.
while it's the contrary. I mean, you really need to look, and you see what happens is that I'm seeing this even globally. The COVID season came, it slowed down globally, and it picked up again. It's like, learn your lesson. Oh, you didn't learn it? Wait a minute, we're coming back, going back to basics. And why we need to go back to basics? Because it's just when you're calm that you are going to produce more.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know,
So we have to do a reset right now.
exactly.
So why is it so important to be able to focus? It takes us to the topic a little bit of today already, where we state that imagination is important. Everything that we live it through having thought about it, through having imagined it. So there's people saying, Belkis, that your thoughts don't create anything, and there's people saying that it's not the thoughts, it's your beliefs that
Mm-mm.
create
No.
something. So let's talk a little bit
Mm-mm.
about this.
No, I'm sorry. It's not like that. You see, and why am I so emphatically saying it's not like that? Because I'm not speaking out of, I read it somewhere.
Hmm.
I'm speaking about many years
You
u-
lived it.
using
Hmm.
it. I
Hmm.
mean, I'm using it. So what happens is this: everything that exists, everything started in your mind, in somebody's mind.
Hmm.
They started to imagine it.
Right.
And you see, what happens is that because I imagine it, I create it. Now, what is the trick? If one imagines and doesn't create anything, and one imagines and creates,
Right.
it's how calm you can be. Out of what standpoint do you start imagining?
Right.
Are you doing it out of a state of calmness, or are you doing it out of a state of being really stressed
Hmm.
mentally?
Hmm.
If you're stressed mentally, you're not going to even create a candy.
Hmm.
But if you're totally calm and you practice that image, that's exactly what you're going to do.
Right.
And in our school, the master taught us that since the basic level,
Right.
you know, since the basic level. But you see, what happens is that we didn't have this access to this information. And I remember practicing these things since I was little. So, me, actually, I just started thinking about it. I'm like, for me, it was very easy creating things. I mean, for me,
Hmm.
what is the challenge? The challenge is created for everybody.
Right.
You see? And most of us create or want to create things that benefit only us. And that is not going to happen anymore.
Exactly. So where does belief come into place?
You see,
Why is it important? Is it somewhat important, or
no,
it's not even a valid statement that you
no,
need to believe what you're imagining?
no. Because you see what happens if I do practice
Mm-hmm.
calmness, and out of calmness, I'm going to say, I'm going to think about a candy.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody comes and says, you want a candy. And you say, what? I got the candy. Then you're
Right.
going to go for something larger. You say, You know what? I would like to go to dinner to a fancy restaurant. And somebody calls you. Hey, would you like to go to dinner with me? And these events are the ones that are going to build belief in what you're doing.
Okay.
You see, belief is based on action.
Mm-hmm.
And people think that belief is something that, oh, I am going to imagine that I'm going to create a brand new car.
Right.
And I need to know that that car is going to be in front of my garage right now.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not going to happen like that. Because you see why? We have gone through life not using this ability.
Right.
So basically, we don't believe in ourselves.
Mm.
Okay? We believe that life brings to us everything without our consent. As a matter of fact, for us, we're just victims of life.
Mm.
And life is hard. Life is difficult. Life is this. We blame everything on life. But what happens is that for you to take responsibility of the life that you're living, you need to start practicing
Right.
something. And because you get a result, that is going to convince you. Because that's what belief is. Belief is that I am convinced that whatever I'm doing is going to give me a desired result.
Mm-hmm. Now, when we talk about imagination and focus is important in order for you to direct your thoughts in on one thing, to create one thing. When we're talking about this, um, for us, it's like we've been in this how you call it, in this walk of life for many years.
Mhm,
So we would say, okay, I understand a little bit, very little, what a thought is, where a thought comes from, and how to recognize when I'm thinking. But for an average Joe, this is not something that they
mhm,
deal with on a day-to-day basis. How do you think? What do you think? We people don't slow down to pay
mhm,
attention to their thoughts. They're
mhm,
just sitting there most of the time because we have become a society that is so distracted continuously. I mean, a couple of days ago, I went for a visit and everybody was on their device. So I was like looking for who can I interact with, because there must be at least one person in the party that was how you call it, was available to have a chat, and not a virtual chat, actual human,
mhm. Human to human
human to
contact.
human
Yeah.
contact. But it was a challenge. It's like you're sitting there, a bunch of people sitting together, everybody is distracted and busy with something else, and I'm wondering, in such a group, who is actually paying attention to what's going on inside their minds?
Nobody.
Who's paying attention to, oh, I should focus on this,
No.
or these are my thoughts right now?
No, no. You see, that is the situation, or I'm not going to call it, I don't want to call it a problem, but it is. That is what we have right now in life. You see, I can understand exactly what focus is if
Mm,
I look through the lens of a camera.
right.
And a lens of a camera tells you what focus is
Right.
exactly,
Mm,
because you have one image, and not only that, you can make it so clear
mm,
that that's the only thing that you have on your camera before you press the button to create a beautiful picture.
right.
And that's the exact same effort or more that a human being has to do. Why the human being has to do more effort? Because the mind, or the mind's eye, does not have one picture.
Right.
It has multiple pictures. And first of all, you need to stop your pictures and have one, just like the camera.
Mm,
So the ideal way of living life is like a camera. And when you have that kind of focus,
mm-hmm.
then is when you can say, I can create.
Okay. So what is a thought?
A thought is simply a signal
Mm-hmm.
that it's a vibration.
Okay.
And you have low vibration, high vibration. That is what's going to determine what you see and what you hear in your mind.
Okay.
And you see, people think that thoughts are exactly like these images and this internal dialogue. It's not. That is the result of the thought vibration,
Hmm.
because thought is a vibration.
Okay, so you should be paying attention if you missed that signal, how it entered, when it entered, where it entered.
But even that is going to
If you
be distracting, huh? Because I'm thinking about, where did it come from?
No, 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 I say if you miss the signal,
Ah,
if you
okay.
miss the signal, where or when or whatever, if you miss the signal, the thought, and it's already there, you should then pay attention to how you're feeling, because immediately that thought would create a feeling.
Yeah, well, actually, and that's another argument that they have out there. What is first?
Mm.
The feeling of the thought.
To me, it's the thought.
And the thought is what? Is a is
It's a signal.
a signal. So if it's a signal, I'm gonna feel the signal. And it happens simultaneously. You see, that is the thing.
Well, you're right and not,
Okay,
because
let's
if it's a signal to me, I would be able to sense it but not really feel it. For me to be able to feel something, it has to be a little bit more matter, a little dense, a little bit more dense. um, Human beings are not really um, focused into all of their senses.
that I agree.
Okay, so a signal can be so subtle. Maybe you should be able to sense it, not feel
Yes.
it, but sense it. But it can be so subtle that it would manifest easier as a thought, and then that thought would become a feeling. Once it's in your mind,
Hmm.
it will travel towards your nervous system, and it will travel towards your body, and then your body would be able to feel it.
Okay, I like that. You know what? In everything that you have expressed, there is a distance.
Mm,
Now, my question is this: how do we know that one thing happens before the other?
mm.
What if the thought and the feeling and the sensation all happen simultaneously?
It can.
You
It
know,
there's no problem with it happening simultaneously. The For me, the important part is not if it happens um, simultaneously or if it happens one after the other. We're very much trained to think in a linear way. This happens, then that happens, then that happens, and I might have explained it that way. However, it would be almost the same to me as if it happens simultaneously. If it happens simultaneously, it would mean thought, feeling, sensation all happen simultaneously.
hmm
But the problem, not, it's not a problem, but the issue is, when do I become aware of it?
okay,
Do I become aware of it because I sense something? There's something
yes,
in the room. Do I become because I need to be very quiet
in order to sense it.
in order to
Yes,
sense.
I agree
Sense
with you.
is even more
Yes.
than what I can smell or what I
Hmm.
can taste or what I can
Yes.
feel or what I can see. So was I able to sense the signal? No, I wasn't, because I was too distracted with my phone. Then was I able to notice my thought? No, I wasn't able to notice my thought because I was listening to this very good song and I was moving my body, and I wasn't listening to my thoughts.
Hmm.
Then was I able to become aware of this one thing that happened? It's just one thing. It's not separated into one event after another event
Exactly.
after another event. It's all happening simultaneously. That signals comes, everything comes. Thought comes, feeling comes,
Yes.
everything comes. But when do I become aware of it in order to do something with it?
Okay. Well,
When?
you see, going back to the body, you have pressure and you have tension.
Hmm.
So when you feel pressure or tension, then is when you become aware.
Right.
But by then, it's already accumulated or depends on the frequency of the thought that you are perceiving. And you see what happens, why I'm saying this, because I get people that talk to me that they start all of a sudden feeling sad.
Right.
They don't know what happened. They have no thoughts. It was a sensation, something they sensed.
Hmm.
So that is why I say not necessarily whatever you sense is going to be interpreted immediately as an image, as a dialogue.
Right.
The person senses something.
Hmm.
They cannot put their finger on it,
Right.
but they sense it. And that is what happens first.
Okay.
You sense it. And then from the sense, it becomes more intense. Then it becomes a feeling. Then
Right.
we're gonna label this feeling. What and
Is
this
it
is
good feeling or
uh,
is it a bad feeling?
or is it anger? Is it sadness? Is
Yes,
it
we have a label for everything, right?
exactly? So we
Hmm.
go to the stage of the day label. But by that time, do you think the signal is gonna stop? No, it went already to your brain.
So that is why, when I teach meditation, or when I explain meditation, I like to make people aware that you have to become um, very in tune with with your allness, your allness, uh, and just in order to help the mind, because the mind is linear. The mind goes from A to B to C to D. Just to help the mind with the focus, I would tell people, focus first on your breath.
Mm-hmm,
Start there. Okay, take a couple of deep breaths,
mm-hmm,
focus on your breath. Now focus on your body. Okay, now focus on your thoughts. Your body is simpler, it's dense. You're here,
mm-hmm,
you feel your body. So you start scanning to see, how's my body feeling? Is there a tension here in my left shoulder? Is there a muscle, something twitching there in my leg? Become aware of your body. It's a way to train your awareness in order for you to start listening to your thoughts. Because
mm-hmm.
after the body, you get into the sphere of the mind. And here you start to become aware of what you're thinking.
You know, I even now that you mentioned that the mind is linear, I even doubt it. I think that we have been conditioned to think step one, step two,
Yes, it
step
is a
three.
conditioning. Yes,
And we
absolutely.
have the spatial ability. And the spatial ability is that I am aware of everything simultaneously. And that can be done. And in martial arts, they do it fantastically because they teach you how to use your peripheral vision.
Hmm.
And this vision, the peripheral vision, is that you can actually seem like you're looking at one place, but you're aware and you can see everything.
Right.
And then you don't have this tunnel vision,
Hmm.
you know? And we need to be aware that these things we can train them. And that will help us to be conscious of our surroundings.
Right.
And that will help.
So nowadays we're living all kinds of changes, sudden changes, unplanned changes. As an entrepreneur, or as a businesswoman, for me these days have been like my hair changed style so many times. I'm very happy I found this very good hair cream, you know, that keeps it in place, because really it's like it's very interesting times again, for the second time this year at least, that you don't know, we don't know. And I think these days especially, it is very important to really become aware of all signals.
Yes.
You tend to want to do so much these days. You have to arrange this, take care of that, pay this, do that, make some decisions on safety and this and that. However, I think these are not the days to be doing so much.
It's these are days to be calm.
Hmm.
Okay, remain calm. You see, I don't want to be in the shoes of somebody that has everything planned or used to have
Right.
everything planned. Because imagine, let's take an example of Aruba. I mean, we had the lockdown, then we started with the phases of opening back,
Hmm.
and then all of a sudden, back to business.
Right.
Everybody's happy, things are rolling, we're back to normal. Then what happens? Again, it's like I started my car, I am going at a very
You
high speed,
overhauled the car completely,
everything.
full tank of gas. You start that motor, you start running, and bam,
And
breakdown.
then it's worst
Mm.
because it's not even breaking up. It's like somebody sitting next to you
Mm-hmm.
decided to pull the handbrake up,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
and you were like, what is happening? And again, you're startled with, wait a minute, let's go back to business
Mm-hmm.
and let's go back to basic.
Right.
So it becomes very uncertain. It is a situation that fills anybody with a lot of fear
Mm-hmm.
because you have, you know what is it? It's fear of the unknown.
Right.
And we need to start changing the fear of the unknown to the excitement of the unknown.
Right.
I have managed to do that. I am excited about not knowing.
Hmm.
Why I be excited of
I
not
can
knowing?
hear Deepak Chopra in my head. It's a signal. It's a thought.
You know, and why am I excited? Because it's true, many years ago, I heard it from Deepak. But you know, one thing is what you hear, one thing is what
But you
you
live.
live.
Mm-hmm.
And even before Deepak, I was already living it. Because for me, I don't like things that are predictable.
Right.
I like the unpredictable. Why? Because this is from Deepak. It is pure potential.
True potentiality. Yes.
Yes, because nothing can be limiting more than knowing exactly what is going to happen.
Right.
You are taking unlimited, infinite possibilities,
Mm-hmm.
and you're doing this to them. This is it. I want to do this.
Right.
And meanwhile, if I live like with infinite possibilities, it's exciting because I can always create something new.
I'll come back to you with that. It's exciting because I know people that don't find it excited and
Ah,
need to control everything. But let's go listen to a song, and we'll be right back here in Creating Joy. Of course, send us your greetings so we can greet you back charged with joy.
Thank you for listening to Creating Joy here on your Positive Radio.
Yes, we're continuing here in creating joy. And let me send out some greeting. Let us send out some of the greetings charged with energy of joy for sure. Send out the greetings to Raquel. Raquel says, good morning, sending love, light, healing energy, and prayers to all. Also, we're sending greetings to Iraima. She says, good morning, have a blessed Tuesday. Azalea, Tuesday blessings. Doris, happy Tuesday for everyone, for all of humanity. May this day bring a lot of happiness and love and excellent circumstances for the totality. Also, Ana Maria, greetings. Good morning to everyone here in studio and the radio listeners. In the calm, we receive the new. She says, in the calm, we receive the new.
That's true.
My first program in English that I'm listening to, and I am practicing my mind to listen in English. Very good, Ana Maria.
Anna Maria, great.
Yes, great. And also, greetings to Fiorella. Greetings to Kitty. A wonderful day. Happy day. Good day to Vilma. And also, Arelis. Greetings to Arelis. Noraima is also listening to us on the online radio. So, uh, yes, for you and for Ana Maria, it seems like you already accepted, you're excited that the calm brings the new and the unknown is pure
Mhm, mhm.
potentiality. How do you deal with a person that just said he says flat out to your face, you know what? I am not comfortable with anything that I cannot control. So anything that is unknown, I cannot control it. I do not go there.
That is a person that definitely doesn't grow.
Hmm.
First of all, why is he not excited about it? Because he's afraid. You see, if you're not afraid of the moment
Hmm.
and all the infinite possibilities, then you welcome the
Hmm.
moment
Hmm.
and all the infinite possibilities. But you see, but when you are afraid of those infinite possibilities because you don't know when one of those possibilities is going to hurt you,
Right.
then you don't like it. You don't go there. That's what you want to control. Basically, why people want to control? They want to control because they don't want to feel hurt. They don't want to feel pain.
Hmm.
Okay? And what happens is that they want to stay in pleasure. But you see, if you stay in this duality, you're not living, you're existing.
Right. Um, hurt is also a possibility.
Yes.
So actually, when someone tells you, I do not want to know much about the unknown, I would rather stay in what I know because I can control it, actually, they're trying to inform you that they still need to develop some skills on how to deal with the hurt. It's like giving you the
The
information,
signal
the
already.
signal that I need some more tools. It's not like you're afraid, you're a coward, you're this, you're that. No,
No, no, no.
it's like, you know what? I'm telling you, I'm not going there because if I get hurt, I wouldn't know what to do.
It's even, it tells you, I need to develop. You see, I don't know when is it that we as human beings have gotten into this mentality
Hmm.
that if I am not jumping in the water, it's because I have a problem.
Right.
Maybe it's from my past.
Hmm.
You're not jumping in the water because you have not trained yourself
Hmm.
to just jump in the water and swim.
Hmm.
It is more a lack of training than a lack of or something being wrong with you.
We know many people. You use the water as an analogy, but we know many people that are really afraid of the water.
Mhm.
And like it's like, how do you help someone go and take that step into jumping? And without guarantee, because I cannot guarantee you that you're not going to swallow some of the water.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot guarantee you that you're going to sink to the bottom before you realize that you have to push yourself up and, gasp for air. I cannot guarantee you that you might float, or that you might swim. There is no guarantee.
You know what? There is exactly what we need to learn.
Mm.
You know, I am one that my technique used to be I push you in the water.
Oh, yes, I've been pushed many times by
Okay.
you. I'm
But
still dealing with the trauma.
okay, then get over it because we need to do it for others. And what happens is this: you push the person in the water, but you are in the water also. And then
Mm.
you're going to show the person how to stay afloat.
Right.
Then you go and you tell the person, let's go, we're going to swim. That is why humans have forgotten who they are.
Humans need to help humans,
Bingo.
but only the human that has been in the water
And knows how to
will
swim.
have the capacity to
Exactly.
help the new swimmer.
Exactly.
You need to be there, not
Exactly.
tell them what to do from outside, from the shore,
Uh-huh.
but be in the water.
Watch it. Don't drown. I mean, hello.
Move
Oh,
your legs.
no, nowadays we do it better.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm filming. Go ahead. I mean, I just saw it.
Right.
A person recording a poor monkey stuck in a log.
Mhm.
And you know what? They started recording and kept recording until a dog came and helped the monkey get out of the log. I'm like, what is the sense of that?
Right.
While the person, whoever was recording, had all the opportunity to help the poor monkey,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and literally stood there seeing that the monkey was really suffering, and the recording was more important to show that the dog came and saved the poor monkey.
Yes, it is a pity,
Yeah.
how people limit themselves and limit their lives and limit all that you can live and experience because of this fear. You can live a great amount of love and connection, genuine connection, because it's there, it's pure potentiality. But if you limit yourself because of fear, yes, you might live in a safe environment, but it would be more like a cage
Exactly.
where you have everything except the freedom and excitement of being alive.
You see, that is one thing Master used to say. I mean, you need to be actually the freedom that you need, because people crave freedom. But what is the only freedom we need? The freedom of thought.
Right.
If you're free from your thoughts, then you remain calm. And if you remain calm, then only then you're going to have brilliant ideas that are going to bring some excitement into your life
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and others. Very important.
True. So imagination is really important. Napoleon Hill is someone that actually studied a lot of men, a lot of people that became what we call today successful in
Mhm.
different areas of their lives. And when he studied them, he would say that people that reach this success, they had reached this because they have used this faculty of imagination in one or another way. Two ways. There's two ways to use your imagination. He said there exists this synthetic imagination. This synthetic imagination is based upon knowledge, and it's based upon things that you have already experienced, signals that you have captured through your senses, your five senses especially. You combine all of these signals with your the imagination, the information that you have, the knowledge that you have acquired. You combine all of this together to complete an idea. And this imagination, this synthetic imagination, would have helped a lot of these men to acquire that success. However, there is another imagination. He speaks about the creative imagination. And this creative imagination is where you go like a step further into having a connection with a completely pure and new thought, a thought that never before has existed. And it seems like this creative imagination came out of the nothing, out of nothingness, out of nowhere. And whichever form or way you use this imagination, it always plants a seed in the mind that at a certain moment you start accepting it. What you imagined, when you start accepting it, it opens up the doors for this to become manifested in this material world.
You know, I say the biggest fear that somebody has is, imagine if you have the ability to imagine something and it appears immediately in front of you. And I do believe that that's the fear that most people have.
Right.
Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because we know what we think. So imagine having this ability that you imagine something and immediately you have it in front of you.
Right.
People are scared because there are things that you think of, imagine, that you don't want.
If you don't have that ability to
Mm.
manage your thoughts
Mhm.
and your thinking and your imagination, you should be scared. Yes.
Yeah, and I think that's what is the resistance
Mm-hmm.
of people wanting to calm their mind down or have the ability or accept the responsibility that they are creating things into their life.
Right.
Because you see, it's so easy to blame another one. I'll blame my mother, I blame my father, I blame my brothers and sisters, I blame the cat, the dog, the government, anybody I will blame.
Right.
And what happens when I do that, then I'm not responsible. You
Right.
see, poor me. But if I start saying, you know what, I'm going to be in charge of what I live. And yes, I haven't managed to stop all my thoughts, but I'm going to make an
Effort.
effort,
Mm-hmm.
okay, to at least, okay, say, today I'm going to practice, okay, let me do something easy. I'm going to practice just saying stop in my mind when I want to judge somebody.
Right.
It's a start.
Mm-hmm.
You see, we are not, and I don't know also why people think that these things you can just drink something and immediately
You take a pill or you just
hey,
add
you
water, you
have no thought
stir, and
and
it's
that's it.
instant. It's instant. It's not.
It is personal effort.
Right.
And the personal effort is in the moment.
Yes.
Because I can tell you one thing that happened this weekend. On Saturday, we were studying. I had a realization.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. I was on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
Only to meet my dear brother
Mm-hmm.
on Sunday and triggering exactly what I realized on Saturday.
Right.
The good thing, because I got to look for the good thing, is that after the fact, I catched myself. I
Right.
said, I got into the trap
Mm-hmm.
and then corrected myself immediately.
Right.
But that's the type of effort that it requires for you to change a way of, I would say reacting, because most of us, we react to things.
Yes.
And out of habit, and you see, I like it because life brings you exactly somebody that,
We have coaches.
oh,
I call
yes,
them coaches,
yeah,
these angelical coaches that we have.
man,
And most of the time, it's the people that are closest to
closest to
you.
you. And my brother did something, and I'm like, I cannot believe it. And then after the fact, after already said what I said, did what
Mm.
I did, then I said, oh my God, I fell into the trap. And I remember saying, I fell into the trap.
Right.
And I took my purse and I said, okay, let me go. Because, you know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna go into that. But at least
You recognize it.
exactly.
Whilst in the past, it would have happened and you wouldn't even be aware.
Exactly.
Okay.
So now I built on that.
Right.
You see, and that is what people forget. You know, that's why I say life is so exciting, because now you are a whole project
Yes.
and you're developing yourself and you're becoming better every
You need to
moment.
be really patient with yourself,
Exactly.
loving with yourself, and
Exactly.
give yourself that space. I was talking with somebody yesterday, and she said, "You know what? I can give everybody space. I can give my sister the space. I can give my partner the space. I can give my daughter the space. Sorry, but I don't give myself the space to develop, everything that needs to develop on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
And managing your thoughts, living in a calm state of mind is not something instant.
Nope.
And when you decide and when you're determined to do it, you actually, it's like something that you do on a consistent basis. Not only when things get rough, because that's what happens. The water
Mm-hmm.
starts getting a little bit rough. And because you're a new swimmer,
You can,
you
yeah,
tend to start swallowing water, and then you go and
yes.
you call the more experienced swimmer. What's happening? There's too
Yeah,
many waves. And then what will the experienced swimmer tell you? Just try and relax, try and get on your back, and try to float, because if you're on top of the wave, you will not swallow water,
exactly.
you know. But if you practice, your abilities, your capacity will also, your experience, all of it, you'll become your own master. And then when you become your own, and that this is one thing for me, I say to everyone, when you become your own master, there you will no longer limit yourself
Mm-hmm.
of the pure potentiality that life has to offer out of fear.
Yes.
There is no need to fear life, because you know who you are, you know your capacity, and you know how to handle whatever life throws at you. You know how to handle.
And you see, I have to say this. You reach a point of self mastery.
Right.
And self mastery, by the way, is not that I'm not going to learn anymore, because that is one thing I actually got confronted with this week also. Somebody says, yeah, but I was taught everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, excuse me, who died and made you the Almighty?
Right.
I mean, you know, it's humbleness. I say I learn of everybody. And you know, I am a person that I look into anybody that can give me part of the puzzle.
Right.
I don't judge anything or anybody, because I don't know. I have learned, by the way, this is a learning experience. I have learned that I don't know who's going to bring me that piece of the puzzle that I need for me to see the vision, the clear vision that is at that moment very important for me to see. So I am aware that anybody can come with that piece of the puzzle,
Right.
and I cannot judge who.
Who is bringing it?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you see, most people say, oh no, this one, yes, this one, no. Oh, this one is enlightened. This is like, no, you don't know.
Right.
So accept anybody that comes and tells you something, and you need to be the one that actually discerns. You need to learn discernment. Discernment is something very important, because you need to get out what really is important, and you need to feel it, you need to know it, and that is wisdom.
That is true. Let's start preparing for the morning inner size. I have, I think, two more greetings here. I have Noheli is listening on today to the program in English, and she says it's awesome. She loves it. Okay. Let me see here. I have Betty also listening today. She says, happy day filled with joy for you also, Betty, and for the totality, for everyone. Are we ready? We're going to do the morning inner size. And remember, when you listen to the morning inner size, when you watch it, when you see it on your screen, try and keep these images on your mental screen.
I
Do you have
have one.
something there?
Yeah, I
Yes.
have a greeting from Brian. He says, greetings from New York,
Okay.
filled with love and joy for all the humanity. That is indeed, we need to do it for all humanity. And that is what's important.
That is true. Let's go and see this morning inner size. this is how we reach the end of the program for today. Tomorrow we'll be back in Papiamento. So I would
Yes.
say try and practice a little bit that calmness and becoming aware of everything that is going around inside of you mostly. That is the most important part.
If you become the owner of whatever happens inside of you, you're going to be the most successful person.
That is so true. So see you tomorrow. And next week, Tuesday, we'll be back here in English. All right? Bye bye.
Bye.